is a short video, or potentially a short video over what I feel Chang Shi Tai Chi is. So try to keep it in a condensed as I possibly can. And I'm really just maybe more talking about the attributes of the system. But I'm going to kind of give a little explanation along the way. So the way that we practice Chang Shi Tai Chi versus other systems. Other systems have fast forms, slow forms, low forms, narrow forms, all of these different things, and Master Chang's system is different. I think it's unfair to compare one thing to another when they're uniquely different. But they're all in this same category. You can say, well, they do a lot of fast ring, and we do one also. That's okay. So classical Tai Chi, there is a lot more variation, I feel. A lot of the more contemporary forms that are either done for competition purposes or purely for health. Nothing wrong with either one of those aspects. But I like the variation of more classical Tai Chi forms. That being said, most of the systems of Tai Chi are not just this. The method is what Tai Chi is, and then there's other things that are usually infused to it. For example, something like Chen and the infusion of Shaolin into the primary method of Tai Chi, or Sun Lutong and his infusion of Xing Yi and Bagua into his Tai Chi, those are both internal systems also, if you want to, that's a different conversation. So I just want to say that first. So when you see Chang Tai Chi, it is just as relevant as any of the other systems. There's nothing that sets it apart in that way. The standard is there. Now, I will say this. Master Chang really wasn't into esoteric or metaphysical concepts or ideas. So his Tai Chi, you really won't get that type of flavor. Meaning we're purely doing this for, we can pare it down to a few words. Strength and mobility, for generalized wellness, health, or we're doing it to develop those things along with self-defense application. And, excuse me, by keeping it super simple like that, it's much more natural in the approach, and at the same time, it's you're not searching for some thing that you may think of as elusive. You can't see it, and they're talking about this thing, and the way they explain it. It's this very practical way of practicing Tai Chi. Also, too, you can see it as a progressive approach to the physical development, as well as the application development. So, that being said, you can say, I'm going to break it down. You have a high base, and you can have a low base, right? High or low base. You can have a narrow stance, or you can have a large frame, right? Medium or narrow frame, large frame, high base, low base, right? I can have a high base, a low base with a large frame, right? So when say you come to this and you're 30, your reasoning behind executing the form in a certain way, we may need to challenge that, right? If you're doing it for application, a lot of times a narrow frame really helps me I'm talking about application. It may be easier for me to quickly move to make that strike or that kick, where I may use that lower base to execute that throwing action, right? And Tai Chi has these aspects, kicks and strikes and locks and throws. No matter the system, those aspects are in it. I can't say that about all of the modern stuff because, again, some of that, it's still the same movement, but they may be doing this punch, but they don't have any intention in the mind of the punch or the push or the pull, etc. I'm not saying that about everyone. There's also doing the form slow, varied, or fast. So a lot of the Tai Chi that people see is more geared towards, the form being done in this very slow approach to doing it, with some pauses and some hesitations. There's nothing wrong with that. Just like there's nothing wrong with doing it fast or doing it varied, with some moves that are slow and some moves that are fast. It really depends on where you are. If you're older, you may want to start with trying to do the movements in a slow and more methodical way. And once you get that down and you feel confident in it, then you may want to try to execute the form as a more fast routine to be more vigorous and get your mobility going, right? Because if you're already walking like this, right, and then you start developing this, and you can get your foot out there, and you start to engage the hips and the legs, and now you can move more freely. Well, what's wrong with working the form at a faster pace? Nothing at all. If you're, how can I say that? The form is the same throughout, meaning the pattern, but say I do a particular move versus a medium or narrow frame versus a large frame, the way my foot is or the way that my body turns, it's going to be slight changes based on these dynamics. The speed of it, the height of it, the width of it. There are other aspects too. There's leg skills and knee lifting. The knee lifting is something that I integrated into my stuff because I see, I look at some of the other classical systems. It's not that the leg skills you're going to be lifting the knee. You're going to lift the whole leg and with many of the moves. Or it may be a knee lifting move, but if the knee lifting to me is purely as a transitional movement, or for an older person that wants to really maximize their stability and balance. The leg skills have always been in Master Chang's Tai Chi. The leg skills can be a little bit more challenging. So if, say, let's look at that for a second, right? So say I do grasp this curl skill, and say I'm here, and I may use these leg maneuvers, okay, double pull, single whip, defending hands, something like that to that effect. So that can be challenging. If you were 70 plus, you may not be able to do that, but you may be able to do this. You understand where I'm coming from. And, please, I'm just discussing this, and I'm not trying to make this look cool or perfect or anything like that. It's just part of the body mechanics of what I'm explaining. So, the leg skills are really important, and it overlays with the other things. So, again, high or low base, more narrow or larger frame, slow, varied, or fast speed, and leg skills. That's the core of it. Like I said, the knee lifting is something that I added more for either to help the older person that potentially can't do those leg skills to either do the knee lifting to transition to the leg skills, or just keep with the knee lifting to help them with better stability and balance and other that kind of stuff. If you're younger, there's no need to do the knee lifting unless, you need some kind of transition. Now, there are certain times where knee lifting, and I would use that to create more momentum, right? I draw myself up and then I expand with the whole body. And that's great for application if, even if I wasn't doing a Tai Chi move and I come here, like that, right? That kind of action, or I punch here or draw up and drive in, right? I'm lifting, I'm driving my mass down, and so helping to generate more force. But that's not what potentially utilizing that for, but it could be used in that way. So when you learn Master Chang's Tai Chi, there's the baseline of the form, right? No matter how you started, if you started with a large frame, small frame, doing it fast, whatever, you want to experiment and explore these other ways to do it so you get a deeper understanding of the form and the movements within inside the form, either for application or to enhance my ability to strengthen myself or to gain more mobility. So if you can, think of it like that, you'll get so much more out of it. Again, I don't integrate, we'll say, esoteric ideas or metaphysical ideas within the Tai Chi. Master Chang's approach, I try my best to stick with this view and how this is done, and that stuff is not needed. If it's what you're looking for, then probably Chang Tai Chi would not be good for you. And if you're looking at it like an endeavor to do something to maintain my body's overall maintenance, my health, or for self-defense, it is a great system for that. But if you're looking for more to theorize and look at, these esoteric ideas, it doesn't really do that. And even a lot of the more modern stuff, the competition stuff, and you're not going to see that. They're not doing it for that. They're doing it to as a performance to show that how well they can execute these things. That's why you see the hands extending like this and pointing the toe and touching the hand, right? Those type of actions, or sinking way far down and touching the ground, or even putting the body even in a deeper position, all the way down to come up. I don't need that for application. I don't need to do that at 70, but if I want to win in a competition, I want to be really good at that stuff. It's like scoring. If you think like a floor routine for gymnastics, they can integrate these different movements together, super challenging, maybe challenging, and they get scored off of that. So this is very similar. That's not what this is. This is for natural improvement of the body, its overall health, and over here also for application for those that are young enough and willing to practice that. So anyway, one more time. So let's say I'm just going to pick brush knee, right? So a high base and a medium stance, right? So I'm here, but I still want to engage my hip. So a narrow stance, but a low base. I dig a little deeper, see? A large frame and a high base. A large frame and a low base. Slow. And that's not really that slow. Fast. The thing with fast is don't project into the hands. Let the core lead. We'll say the waist. See? You look at my hands, they're really not even moving that much. It's all the waist. Lifting the knee. You can do this with lifting the knee. And again, think about the reason why. Overall strength, balance, vigor. Leg skills with this move. This is, if you're looking at this as application, the leg skills aren't so much there with this move. This move is we'll say, for a better word, attaching to a leg, and he's trying to kick you and you're moving the leg away as you push him back in the way. You can also go this way as I scoop up a leg and push him away. Or it can be done this way, capturing the guy's knee, right? This way, capturing it. Something like cloud hands. So this is where leg skills, you would see them more. So I hope that kind of helps. Again, to me personally, I'm in my mid-50s, and I really like to do a large frame with a varied speed, and I really like leg skills. So those three things are what I like to work on. Depending, again, on the person's age, it might be that they want to work on, or they physically need to, do a high base and narrow stance and slow. Nothing's wrong with that. That's not, please understand, that's not what I'm saying. It is, what do I need to do right now to help me to get better at my baseline? And then by utilizing these other variations on the form, what can I do to maximize my physical ability? So nothing wrong with that. And I hope if you're watching the video and you're not coming to me, that it can make sense. It's not that I'm reinventing something. This is stuff that's always been there. Classical Tai Chi. There's forms where they're this low. They're down here and they're moving way down here. And there's forms where they will do it fast, and there's this explosion of emotion on the end, right? There are all the kind of flavors of it. The great thing about doing systems that allot you that ability, it's not that you can relax and do it halfway or something when you're actually doing it. I'm just talking about it, but it's that you have these different ways to explore it and to get something out of it instead of just being so one way. And anything like that after a while becomes stale. But if I can take that same piece in the next 6 months or the next 3 weeks, whatever it may be, I'm going to work on the form in this way. And then I'm going to move to this. And sooner or later, over a period of time, something is going to emerge, and you're going to end up doing the form in this particular way that benefits you physically, your comprehension skills, and your age. And then if you're younger, it may become something different as you get older. You may be older and you don't think that you could really ever, do these kind of big stances anymore with your body. And then as you persevere, you keep pushing along, you keep doing these things to invigorate yourself again. So that, whether you've lost some of your independence, I'm not going to do that. There's a lot of stairs there, or, it's a lot of walking, I'm going to do that. And you strengthen the body again, and you're able to go out and do those things that you potentially used to do or you like doing. And as it relates to the application of the fighting approach, it's no different than any other system. There's kicks, there's strikes, there's controls or locks, and there's takedowns or throws. When you see like my Sifu demonstrating the form, or you see Master Chang from the 1960s or the early 80s, they're doing the form as a fast form to demo the form. And to quite frank, it's more difficult than you think to do the form fast. You would think that because you're having to do these moves and move the foot just a little bit, that would be maybe easier, or maybe some people think that's harder. Try it. It's not easy to do the form slow. To get everything to coordinate and move together and end together and all that. But just on this other side of that coin, there's doing it fast and keeping all the details and articulating everything together and making it work. It's as much of a challenge, and in some ways it's more of a challenge. To not let yourself lead with your hands, but to let the body still work together. But it looks great when you do it fast or slow. as it relates to me personally, again, I like a varied speed. I don't mind doing it fast. It's great, especially for a demo. You know, I can do the form in 4.5 to 6 minutes, and it's for a demo. That's probably better, right? If I'm doing it for my own personal gain, I'm probably going to do it with a varied speed between, like, I don't know, 7.5 to 10 minutes, somewhere in there. Probably 8.5, 9 is my average. If I was doing it slow, add another 4 or 5 minutes to that. But doing it slow is more of a meditative thing. I'm doing that more. I want to clear my mind, and I'm completely focused on my body's movement and how I'm using my body. They all have their own purpose. So I encourage anyone to watch the videos of me doing these forms and see what it's like. I mean, it's really a good system and very practical. You know, I think that has a lot of value. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. Again, just quick rundown one more time. Medium or narrow, large frame, right? High base, low base, high base, low base. And then we have the speed, right? Slow, varied, or fast. And we have leg skills. And those leg skills are the trips that you would employ with the Tai Chi postures. There's not one for every move, but for a large portion of them, there are. The knee lifting, like I said, that comes from classical Tai Chi, and there are some moves that you will see some other Tai Chi practitioners where they will do, single whip, they'll cover your defending hands, and you'll see them lift the knee. So there is some knee lifting in the form, but what I'm talking about is the majority of the postures having that knee lift to help to strengthen the core and the legs. And help with that stability, right? The strength of the body and the mobility, and purely for that. But the gym is the leg skills, because you won't see that. You only see little minute pieces of that throughout the other systems. Master Chang being the master of Shuajiao, his understanding of Shuajiao and of Tai Chi and being able to merge those two concepts together makes for very challenging and yet beautiful flow of movement. And even you doing this with some speed to it, the articulation of the movements is great. Yes, it's challenging, but to me, that is something that drives me. I want to do something that's not just easy. I want to put some effort to it, and I value it more. So anyway, I hope all of that makes sense, and thank you for watching the video.